Tonight, a new twist in the fight over rights of transgender children. The bill, which has already passed the state house, would now make it a crime for physicians to provide common care for minors who are transgender. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon joins us live from the Capitol after speaking with a doctor who works with transgender patients. And Doug, they say implications of this are very concerning.
Right, Savannah, doctors are very worried for what could happen here at the Capitol next week with this vote upcoming. You know, this treatment certainly can be life-saving for a lot of people, but doctors could face civil or even criminal penalties after this bill passes for providing that treatment to individuals. We talked to Dr. Jason Schneider today. He's with Emory University, and he works with a lot of transgender patients providing this care. He said that surgical procedures on trans minors are extremely rare, so the bigger issue here has to do with hormone treatment. We're talking about estrogen or testosterone. That's what doctors use to help. Could also become illegal under this bill too for minors. Lawmakers behind this bill worry that kids could regret their decision once they reach adulthood, but Schneider says that doctors and patients and families have very thorough conversations before any decisions are made, sometimes spanning the course of years. He thinks that lawmakers should be focusing on other healthcare related issues instead of going after these doctors.
Other health issues like maternal mortality, right, and poverty among children and hunger among children, right? That's where our lawmakers should be focused in their energies.
And one provision in this bill, anyone who is already receiving care as a minor before July 1st, when this bill would theoretically take effect if it passes, would be grandfathered in. But Dr. Schneider worries for that too. He says that could create a rush of patients to doctors to try and get in under that deadline. We're outside the Capitol tonight. Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.